Hello everybody, welcome back to the internet's best reactions. Today we are talking about the Japanese Grand Prix, a race we didn't even know whether it was going to go ahead on the days leading up to the race weekend with Typhoon Hagibis? I don't know what it's called. Either way, I'm just glad it went ahead, even though it was all on the Sunday. Did you get up for 2 AM for qualifying? I didn't. Don't hurt me, please. But let's get into your best reactions. Right, let's kick off the hashtag WTF1 moments. We have at Kuroshmoini. There we go. FIA, did Vettel jump the start? Now, there's a lot of controversy, a lot of opinions going on about whether Vettel jumped the start or not, whether he should have got a penalty or not. Now, for me, it's difficult, and I know that there'll be a lot of comments going, Matt, you're wrong, no matter which way I go. But for me, I felt like it should have been a penalty. I know that the reasoning behind it was because it didn't trigger the sensors, and therefore he didn't actually come out of his grid box, and it wasn't a jump start. But then there's the other opinion of the fact that you're not supposed to anticipate the start. So for me, he's gone and then stopped and then gone again. I know he's lost a position. I know Kimi's in Russia was a little bit more extreme because he came out of his grid box. But for me, if the rules state that that isn't a penalty, I feel like it should be moving forward. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Please don't hurt me. I know there'll be a lot of opinions coming in. At Dave McKeegan, stewards when Ferrari break the rules. Now, I absolutely love this GIF, so I had to include it. And I'm not saying that Ferrari broke the rules every single time they get away with it, but the very interesting one was Leclerc and Verstappen into turn 2. For me, not a fanboy, just passionate. And even I think that Leclerc was at fault 100%. There was absolutely no racing incident about it. He understeered, washed out, hit Verstappen, who was on the outside. But then the stewards came over and said no investigation necessary. I know it changed, and then Leclerc eventually got a penalty. But I found that so strange because they went from no penalty to then investigating it for about 20 laps and then going, we'll just do it after the race. I don't like that process. I think that if they put it under investigation, they have to decide then and there. People will be going, oh, we don't want them to rush their judgment. But at the same time, they should have enough camera angles, etc., to be able to make an informed decision. They don't need the teams to come up and be like, oh, well, Leclerc understeered, it wasn't his fault, or, Hamilton was in front. Or, there's not Hamilton was behind, but you know what I mean, Bottas was in front. But it's those sort of things that you don't need the teams who are clearly biased to come into the steward's office and be like, well, blah, blah, blah. There is enough camera angles to make a decision. That's my opinion anyway. The steward's decision needs to be a little bit more cutthroat. That's what I want. I don't want decisions after the race. At 09W Russell, Leclerc on Verstappen into turn 1. I know I've mentioned the incident, but haven't had a GIF to sum it up as well. I'd be absolutely raging if I'd just swept up all those leaves. But for me, yeah, Verstappen's so unlucky. I mean, he got a great start. Both Ferraris so slow off the line. Obviously, Vettel had his little jump start issue. Leclerc just so slow. Verstappen absolutely steaming, although I don't think he really had the pace in that Red Bull to challenge for the victory. He would have probably hands down got a podium, so it was sad to see. From one collision to another, Alex Albon versus Lando Norris into the second to last corner, I think. Yeah, that's right. At F1 Memory, Albon passing Norris. It was quite extreme from Albon, wasn't it? Third to last corner, because you got 3, 2, and then the kink is 1, I think, maybe. But either way, it was a little bit too extreme from Albon. He just kind of came from so far back. I know Lando in the sort of post-race interviews afterwards said, oh, I didn't see you coming. But at the same time, Albon came in with so much closing speed that Lando would have had to have left the track no matter what, and obviously he suffered some damage. I saw Lando tweeted that he had loads of stuff in his brakes as well, so it was a pretty disappointing race for Lando, considering he was behind Sainz at the start of the race. But Albon, yeah, I like the fact he's going for moves, but that one was just a little bit too much for me. Now, this tweet has reminded me of something I need to talk about, and it's going to tee me up kind of nicely. At Grand Duke Apollo, Leclerc carving up the field is so satisfying, because Leclerc had to pit early, and this is what I need to talk about, is the actual end plate hanging off the front of that Ferrari. For me, dangerous. I can't see how Ferrari were even contemplating of leaving him out. I don't know if you guys have seen the clip of Leclerc going through 130R one-handed whilst holding his wing mirror in place, but then carries on for another lap. For me, It's just an accident waiting to happen. We've seen Felipe Massa having a horrible accident at Hungary when a small car park came off the car ahead and hit him in the... I mean, it was the most unlucky thing ever. But at the same time, there was a proper and big amount of end plate just hanging off. For me, they have to be black and... Is it black? Not black and... Black and orange flag with it's called something... A donut? No, not a donut. I don't know what it's called. But either way, the black and orange flag to come in. They should be immediately told to come in because that was far too dangerous for me and I didn't like seeing it. At Helena Hates You, Verstappen retires with too much damage from the first lap collision with Leclerc. It was a sad sight to see. Obviously, Red Bull have put all their eggs into this basket of the Japanese Grand Prix. Obviously, they've got Honda backing, Honda, Suzuka. You know, it's very much a place that they hope to do well and they had so many upgrades. But obviously Albon did really well, don't get me wrong, finished P4, but Verstappen, he could have been up there. Now there was an interesting point in the race where Bottas was talking about strategy and the fact that he would be on a 2-stop and he'd have to overtake Hamilton for the lead of the race because Hamilton would be on a 1-stop. At F1_Jamie Dwyer 93, Hamilton, whenever he questions the strategy, Hamilton was on top form complaining to his team that he was on the wrong strategy, although I can understand that when he's hearing that Bottas is almost a pit stop ahead, and they've had the same amount of pit stops, it was very odd indeed. So obviously he was very angry and we get to see the best juicy bits from the team radio. But at the same time, there was the weird thing of Bottas then being told that he'd have to overtake Hamilton for the win. So I feel, and don't quote me on this, that they just kind of dived in and said, Hamilton, right, we're going to have to pit you again, 10 laps from the end. Sorry, but Bottas is going to have to win this. And they kind of covered it off. So yeah, speculation. Another controversial moment to come out of the Japanese Grand Prix wasn't actually anything to do with the on-track racing. It was to do with a 12-page document at in_his_Miraz. Small Pace Racing Point Formula 1 team delivers 12-page dossier on Renault cheating. Netflix crew. Oh, I love this. This is my favourite tweet of the weekend, but I'll be very interested to see how this whole thing kind of ends up because there's been chatter in the paddock that it could be from sort of nothing, like no action taken, all the way through to get out of the championship because it could be viewed as cheating what they're doing because apparently there was an automatic system to change the brake bias as the distance in the race sort of unfolded. So a bit controversial, could get a bit juicy, a bit spicy. And I just love the fact that Racing Point and Renault are usually hand in hand, loving each other on social media. Will that continue? So at the end of the race, Hamilton was behind Vettel because Mercedes decided to pit him 10 laps from the end. I still don't buy the fact that Hamilton had to pit. I feel like they gave Bottas the victory. I think Hamilton could have stretched it had they decided sort of 10, 15 laps earlier, but either way. At 09W Russell, at the end of the race, Hamilton and Vettel, they both needed more power. And I'm surprised that Hamilton didn't get past Vettel, but I think there was that moment, I think on lap 51, where Vettel was caught up behind a back marker, but fortunately for him, Ferrari power plus DRS as well because of the back marker in front of him just about saved him into turn 1, and also the nature of the track with turn 1 not being a hard braking point at all. So yeah, Vettel just about clinching second place. At Alex Stanger 1993, Perez crashes on the final lap. FIA, didn't happen. So I don't know if you guys have heard this as well, but there was a fault in the timing so that the race actually ended a lap earlier, which gave Perez P9 despite crashing into turn 1. And that's mad. It's just, clearly obviously it's in the rules. If there's a timing error, then they have to go a lap back. But can you imagine if something big was sort of decided on that last lap, like the battle for second place or the battle for the lead? Perhaps Bottas crashed on the last lap. Absolute madness. But yeah, it didn't happen. Perez finished P9. Good job, mate. At F1 Memory, camera operator trying to find Bottas at the last corner. That gif is brilliant, but yeah, still a little bit of dodgy camera work here and there. You kind of just see them flying about like, oh God, where's Bottas? Oh, there he is. And Crofty had to kind of adapt to the fact Bottas was already crossing the line when he had to commentate saying, oh, he's won the race. But yeah, I feel like maybe they got a little bit better, the whole sort of F1 directing, but still no Carlos Sainz. Still no Carlos Sainz. It's ridiculous. The man is on an absolute mission. Finishing P5. Unbelievable drive once again. I just never see him. Sort it out, please. And finally, for the hashtag WTF1 moments, Lewis Hamilton telling Paul di Resta that he and Bottas have been racing freely all season. That's from @_sarcastic Mr. Fox. Yeah, Hamilton was not in a good mood at the end of this race. He did not want to talk to anyone, especially Paul di Resta, who was kind of like, because it's just so difficult. And I know that athletes and celebrities can be a bit annoyed if whatever has happened, but geez, leaving an interviewer on a, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, well, you know, we've been racing all season. Paul di Resta's like, oh, cheers, mate. Thanks. Go on, go and have your champagne. Yeah, he wasn't happy. Neither was Paul di Resta. Neither of them were happy. Okay, top 5 F1 moments from anywhere on the internet. We'll start with Twitter, @LukeSmithF1. This was just a quote, but I absolutely loved it. I think it was from the press conference or an interview from the Pen. Either way, Vettel's response to the early checkered flag. I don't know what happened. Obviously, somebody was a bit eager. So I wasn't the only one today who was eager and went a bit early. There was also the press conference as well, where Hamilton just basically said, you're lying, when Vettel's like, I didn't think I was going to get a penalty. Cheeky. So Hamilton maybe thought they should have got a penalty. Would it be a top 5 F1 moments without Guido van der Garde coming back to the internet's best reactions? Lewis, tell me what to do to win this race. Mercedes, Valtteri, it's James. But it didn't happen, did it? In fact, it was the other way around. Bottas giving that Uno swap card, reverse card even, Uno reverse card, and absolutely sending one back to the team. That was a message. I know it was a bit of banter, but it was also serious. Another F1 moment actually pointing out exactly what I just spoke about from Reddit. JD Muscle 03 pulled an Uno reverse card. I mean, I love that Nico Rosberg picture with the explosion in the background. I know he's kind of changed his ways now. That's what I've heard anyway. But it's just such a funny Photoshop. I love it. Absolutely love it. But Valtteri, porridge, don't give an absolute toss. Bottas is back for one race and then he'll be off the pace again in Mexico. But whatever. Another one from Reddit, hooked on Netflix. I love this meme, but it's just brilliant about the Max and Leclerc collision. I'll let you read that, but yeah, I do love a meme. Have you noticed? I think we're sort of season 3, midway through, or towards the end of season 3, and I love a meme. I love internet's best reactions. Do you? If you do, leave us a like. Let us know in the comment section below that you still like this series, because I love doing it. And finally, one from Instagram, Lollipop Man Comics. I can't get enough of them. They're brilliant, especially in this one, if you have a look at the Lewis one. That is just exactly... I just love the creativeness of it. So yeah, good work. Social media team championship time now. Wasn't enough banter for my liking. I put a tweet out. No one really was like, yeah, there was a few here and there. Not good enough. I know there was like a typhoon and stuff like that, and there was an early start, although it was 10 AM local time. Like, what are you doing? More banter, please. Let's get into it. In third place, it's not really banter, but they've won 6 constructors' titles in a row, and soon to be 6 drivers' titles in a row. Any guesses? It's of course Mercedes AMG F1. To have the honour of winning a single F1 World Championship is incredibly special. To win 6 of them, we have no words. This means the world to our people, our friends, our teammates, our team. Congratulations, Mercedes. As much as I hate the fact that F1 is being dominated, or kind of dominated, although Ferrari's coming back a little bit now, you cannot take away from the hard work and dedication that this team has done. They've absolutely smashed it the last 6 years, so well done. Now stop winning, please. In second place, and I believe, if my mathematics are correct, securing the social media team championship for 2019. It is Sport Pacer Racing Formula 1 team! Got him, P9 for Checo. And then I think about 10 seconds later, if that, what just happened? Of course, that is alluding to the fact that Perez was in the barriers at turn 2. But yeah, I just like the reactiveness of social media and the fact that it's like, yes! And then, what just happened? Well done, you won the championships. What pace race, what Formula 1 team? Woo! Fanfare. And finally, the winners of the Japanese Grand Prix. It's of course, I say of course, you may not have seen this tweet because it was from qualifying, but qualifying was on Sunday, so technically it's still fine, right? It's Scuderia Ferrari wins the Japanese Grand Prix with, spot the link, North-South Sebastian Vettel. Answer, they're all on pole. I like it. It's cheeky. It's a little bit like, ooh, bit of a riddle. Nice. 3 points. Good work. That's 1 point for Mercedes AMG F1, 2 points for Sport Pacer Racing Formula 1 team and the champions of 2019, and 3 points for Scuderia Ferrari.
And now it's time for Race Rundown with your host, Matthew Gallagher.
Race Rundown, I've got a different graphic, so I think I'm going to struggle with this one, but I don't really care because F1 didn't post the graphic that I usually read off. Probably because there was that countback thing, so they just deleted it and didn't do it. But either way, Race Rundown time, let's do this. Bottas, Vettel, Hamilton, Albon. See, look, I have to scroll. I'm really annoyed now. I have to scroll. Rather than just having it all succinct on my telephone, I do not have that. So let's try it again. Bottas, Vettel, Hamilton, Albon, Sainz, Ricciardo, Leclerc, Gasly, Perez, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Kvyat, Norris, Raikkonen, Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Russell, Kubica. Scrolling works, apparently. And the non-finishers, Max Verstappen. No, wait, why am I doing full? Why am I doing full? I've done nearly 4 seasons of this. No, nearly 3 seasons of this. And I just did a full name. What's wrong with me? The non-finishers were Verstappen. Because Perez finished, because we're on countback, remember? Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for watching the internet's best reactions to the Japanese Grand Prix. Well done to you if you watched qualifying and the race and you're from somewhere in Europe like the UK or wherever, so you had to endure a very tough Sunday. If you want to get involved next time, use the hashtag WTF1 on social media and we will pick the very best ones for next time out, which is in 2 weeks' time, or just under 2 weeks' time, for the Mexico Grand Prix. That's it. I'm Matt with WTF1 and we'll see you next time. I'm really stiff.
And now it's time for Race Rundown with your host, Matthew Gallagher.
Are we still filming?